You can see here, that white stuff, it is not a spider web, that is mold. What's up guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Gregson and welcome back to Shifting Lanes if you are a returning viewer. If you're a new viewer, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. If you like what you see, consider hitting the subscribe button, the bell icon next to it to turn notifications on, and give it a thumbs up at the end of the video, that really helps us out. Right now I'm standing in front of my 2005 Volvo V70R, and for those that are familiar with this channel, you'll know exactly what happened to this car last time. Well, I didn't go to the dyno. Yeah, not really a great situation I'm in. However, it does afford me an interesting opportunity. While the front end that I'm getting for this car from another part out of another V70R down in Virginia, I thought it would be an interesting opportunity to take the interior of this car completely apart. So what I'm going to do tonight is basically just detail that process. I thought it would be interesting to do part one of the restoration as basically just an unveiling of what's underneath inside this car. It's a 13-year-old car, you never know what you're going to find, and part of the process of this whole build is to beat an M3 but also to restore it to as factory fresh as we humanly can on a tight budget. If you're going to do something like this in this car, you need to disconnect the battery, which is in the trunk. I've gone ahead and done that already. You will start throwing airbag codes if you don't do that. So disconnect the battery and then you can strip whatever you'd like inside this car. So we're going to take out both front seats, the back seat, and the entire headliner. So I'm going to grab a bone tool, take out all of the interior plastic trim, take down the headliner, unbolt the seats, rip them out, and then we can see exactly what we have. So let's cue the time lapse. Okay, so when you're inside a car and when you actually get things open, you can kind of see a little bit of the history of the car. Down in here, I'm gonna turn the light down in here, you guys can see there's a bunch of dog hair. So one of the previous owners of this car definitely had a dog for a long period of time. Tons and tons of dog hair. As you go panning through here, you can see there's more. There's even some on some of the foam back here. But what you see here is actually not really good at all. That is water residue, and that's just under the back carpet. And what I did is when I took off a little bit of the paneling here, you can see here, that white stuff, it is not a spider web, that is mold. And that's on the back of this leather, and that is basically that bolster just on this side, which was sitting right there. Now, there's another part of this that I'm gonna come around here and show you. Where is it? I can't find it. I can't find it. I have no idea where it is. I think it's this guy, actually. Yeah. So right here, this piece of, I guess, foam, I don't know, like rubberized foam, is this whole thing right here is wet. So that's not good, which means there's a leak in this car somewhere, and I don't know where it is going, because you can see up here, there's definitely a stain in the headliner, which is part of the reason I want to get the headliner redone, which is weird because it's got to be coming from up there, because that piece of foam came from right here, which is near the back window. So we're gonna have to find where this leak came from. So let's try to get the rest of this plastic off over here and get the headliner off and see if there's any kind of leaks. If not, it's coming from these little holes here. But back to work. Okay, so I put a bunch of the stuff in back there, and I kind of closed this up just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the rest of this headliner another day, because there's too much going on. So what I'm going to do is take the seats out and do those first, because those actually have to get done. They're getting picked up in 2 days. So I'm going to take these two bolts out here, same with the other side, and then I'm going to get the front seats out and then the back seat out, and then we'll take it from there. Coming into the light, you can kind of see just how dirty these things are. This is the seat bottom from the back seat. Doesn't look too bad. The seat back has some staining here. You can see the discrepancy in the coloration. Get the seat belt out of the way. top looks in pretty good shape, honestly. Obviously some more staining. Maybe that was from sweat over the years or something. Maybe something wet was sitting on the seat at some point. But if you pan over to the driver's seat, it's like night and day. Look at the dirt and grime accumulation that happens over the years. This is just disgusting. What we're gonna do is Fibrenew will be restitching this. This is what's called a blind stitch, and you can see it here because there's no stitch actually showing. That's what a blind stitch means. So when you have a stitch showing like here, that's a regular seam stitch. This is a blind, and you can see this one is clearly showing here, and it's not there. So they're gonna redo this. This also is very not great. So this will all be re-sewn and tucked in. Worst case scenario, it stays as is and we get all of this refinished. Man, this thing looks dirty in this light. I mean, just look at the headrest compared to that. That is wretched. So what we have is basically the whole interior out, less the passenger seat, which is still in. There's a lot of work still to do in the back. The two bolts over here are almost stripped, and they're not coming out. They're sort of at this impossible angle. So I'm gonna leave those in for the night, and I'm gonna sign off and get those out at another time. But you can kind of see the difference in how the leather stacks up. This portion, the left or the passenger rear, is in really good condition for how old the car is. Again, you see a little bit of staining here. The armrest is in really good shape. Inside, obviously, oh, they're my old injectors, look at that. So yeah, not too bad, but we are going to get all of this refurbished, and you can see here the bolsters actually in the back too. We have the one that had mold on it from before, and this one does not have any mold. So on this side of the car here, driver's side, we're gonna have to find where that leak is, and that's it. So we have our interior out. So the interior is 90% stripped. We're gonna get that passenger seat out, and then we will have an after shot as when this thing is done. We're also going to be redoing the carpets, not necessarily redying them, because what that'll happen is you'll get a lot of kind of like balling effect, and it'll turn very stiff, so we don't want that. This is gonna be completely cleaned and refreshed a little bit as well. We'll take the armrest off too, and that will be pretty much it for the interior while that gets fixed. So one last thing before I sign off, everything's out. The passenger seat is out, driver's seat, back seats, everything. This is an interesting case, as this was incredibly hard to get off, but if you look closely, there is orange markings here. Now, that leads me to believe that this piece, and I think some of the driver's seat too, because some of the stitching is already orange, have been re-dyed before, because if you look at the difference between the coloration of the back seats and that piece, and even if you look at the front seat versus the back seat, it's way more orange. So I believe that even though this has white stitching, well, whitish stitching, yeah, I think this has been re-dyed. Especially because of the orange, no, it's not on that side, but the orange on this side, I think this has been redone before, at least a couple of the pieces in this car. So let's pan out. We have everything done. The whole car is out, so I am going to put you guys back on the tripod and sign off. All right, guys, that will do it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing me struggle taking this whole interior apart. It was very frustrating, but also very satisfying to be able to work on my car myself for a change. So the next step in this process is to get these to Fibrenew. They are going to re-dye all of these, every single panel, re-stitch, redo everything. So with that in mind, you'll see that hopefully in a couple of weeks. It is being, the whole interior is being picked up by Fibrenew tomorrow or Saturday. I'm filming this on a Tuesday, so yeah, it'll be very, very soon. After that, we are going to redo the carpets, we're going to repaint the center console, and we're going to replace the gauge cluster hood. After that, you'll see me redoing the front of this car. We may actually take it to a body shop, not because we cannot do it, but because for expediency purposes, I want to get this thing back on the road and beating the E46 M3 before the end of the year. And it is the end of September, so we have 2 months to get this thing done, and I want it done. And I want it whooping an M3 on a drag strip, on an autocross or track, and in every aspect imaginable. We have 2 months to go. I think we can get it done. So let's get to work, and if corners need to be cut to get things done on a time perspective, they will be, because I want to bring you guys the content, and that's what matters most to me right now. If you guys like the video, you know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Thank you to FCP Euro for sponsoring this video and all of our videos. Thank you guys for all your help with helping me get this out, and with everything you guys have done with this car. We really appreciate it, and it has helped me out tremendously. I do this for you guys, and that is the reason why we have this car. You guys love the content, so thank you so much for sharing this around and making this series really, really popular and giving us hundreds of thousands of views on just this car alone. If you don't know, we have other series on this channel. We have 2 other project cars, Project BRZ, which is Project Driver Mod, as well as a Project Lexus IS300, where Chad is basically making a budget M3, which is really, really cool. So go check out those playlists. You can find them in the description below. Check out FCP Euro's link in the description below as well. And that will do it. If you want to pick up some of our merchandise, that link is also in the description below. You can head over to our Teespring account and find hoodies, as well as t-shirts for Shifting Lanes, as well as Team Dadwagon, which supports this car. All of those funds go right back into our builds, so you are helping to build our cars with us. If you want to support us on Patreon, that link is also in the description below, and you can support us by donating some money and helping us build these cars. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. The next thing you see on this car will be one of many things, so I'm not entirely sure what you'll see, but stay tuned. You'll see it hopefully each Wednesday, and that will be it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. See ya.